try to stop that motion, right? That is what we call friction, right? Then අපි කිව්වා in friction, when I apply a force to a certain object, it will not straight away move because of what frictional force? Because of what frictional force does that happen? Chenuli, Lasas, Mayumdi, Senet, switch on your cameras. Quickly. Chenuli, mama henada?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Then can I switch on your cameras, all of you, please? Senet, Lasas, Mayumdi, hurry up, quickly. Lasas, Senet, නැත්නම් එක් කරන්න බෑ එකයි. We don't have all the time. Also, one more thing that I want to let you guys know, that is that if you something that not I'm not blaming anybody, මම ඔයගලන්ට කියන්න නෙවෙයි, but සමහර වෙලාවට not even for this class, for other classes as well, most of the time නෙවෙයි, sometimes some of the students, they don't join the class and then they later ask for the recording, right? එතකොට class එකට join වෙන්න, ඒ වෙලේ class එකට join වෙන්නේ නැතුව පස්සේ recording එක ඉල්ල ගන්න එක is like අර shortcut එක වගේ, right? ඒ වෙලේ class එකේ වාඩි වෙලා ඉන්න බෑ, but later recording එක ඉල්ල ගන්නවා බලන්න. I don't accept that kind of behavior. ළමයි හරිද? If you are not, මම එක ගොඩාක් පාඩවල් කියලා තියෙනවා, I will tell this again. If you are not coming to the class, if you are not attending the class on a particular day, you have to inform me beforehand. If you don't inform beforehand, නැත්නම් අර class එක පටන් ගන්න වෙලාවට හරි. Okay? එහෙම inform කරන්න නැත්නම් I will not send the recording. I thought of being a bit more strict about this because I really care about the attendance. For me, it's not just about the money, right? When I teach you, I want to have that satisfaction of teaching you. I want to make sure that you're actually learning this and you're bringing the knowledge home and you're using that knowledge properly, right? So because of that, I really care about the attendance, right? So it's not just about the money for me. So that is why, right? ඒක හින්දා ඕගොල්ලන්ට, I mean, obviously you can have valid reasons. මට සමහරවිට valid reasons තියෙනවානේ class එකක් postpone කරන්න. එහෙම reason එකක් තියෙනවා නම් එකපාරට කඩාපාත් වෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. එහෙම කඩාපාත් වුණත් class එක පටන් ගන්න වෙලාවට දන්නවනේ මට අද class එක join වෙන්න බෑ කියලා. Then in such cases you have to inform me at least at the time when the class is supposed to start. So this class is supposed to start at 7. So at least you have to drop me a message. Otherwise, I don't accept the record. Don't like expect me to send you the recording, right? Which I will not do. So please keep that in mind. ආපු නැති අයටත් එක කියන්න. Yeah. So, and also, if your attendance is not very good, and එක දිගට attendance නැත්තම්, can you all hear me?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So lag වෙනවා නම් පොඩ්ඩක් කියන්න මට. එක දිගට attendance නැත්තම් I will have to remove you, right, from the group, as well as from the class. At least සති තුනක් එක දිගට absent, you don't inform me, nothing ඒ වගේ මොනවත් valid reason එකක් නැත්තම් මොනවත්, I will remove you from the group, right? So with all of those clear, මම මෙම කාටවත් blame කරනනේ, but
Excuse me, teacher.
yes, Ashwita.
Visha, there's a connection problem because of that I left and joined.
No worries,
So
we didn't
please.
start the lesson. We didn't start it yet. It's okay. Okay. So මං කිය හිටියේ ඒ ටික තමයි. So even if you are not attending the class, let me know beforehand or at least when the class starts. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ timetable එක හොයලා ඇතිනේ 4ට මේ class එක තියෙනවා කියලා. එතකොට මතක් වෙනවනේ. And if any of your friends are absent, you let them know that I said this as well, right? Okay. Now we were talking about friction and apikua, static friction, limiting frictional force, and dynamic friction, right? We said when I apply a force to an object, let's say this is an object like this, I apply a force to this object. Let's say man chuti force yak dano. Immediately the object will not start moving, right? Why? Because the other surface, which is the table, will apply a force opposite to this. What is this force? What is this force? Which frictional force is this? Mayombi? Yes, generally correct. Static frictional force. And then when the object is about to start, it's limiting frictional force. And even when the object is moving, the frictional force will still be there. That is dynamic friction or dynamic frictional force, right? Yes. So these are the three types of frictional forces. Then we started talking about the factors that affect limiting frictional force. Api eka kata kara nature of the surface, right? We said if the surface is rough, will the frictional force be higher or lower? Amma, what do you think? If the surface is rough, what do you think will happen to the frictional force? Frictional force වැඩි ද අඩුයිද?
අඩුයි.
අඩුයි. අඩුයි? අඩුයි? මාත් එක්ක වට අඩුයි. No, වැඩි, right? Because surface එක rough නම් ඔයාට object එක move කරන්න අමාරුයි. Move කරන්න අමාරුයි කියන්නේ opposite force එක වැඩි කියන එක. We talked about this last week, huh? And then අපි got perpendicular reaction force, which we already talked about. Perpendicular reaction force එක වැඩි නම් what happens? Frictional force එක වැඩි. Now today, put a question. Does the limiting frictional force depend on this and that? අපි දැම්මනේ. ඒ වගේ write a question. මේ අශ්විතාගේ note එක බලුවේ. Okay. Third one. Does the limiting frictional force ලියන්න ළමයි. Sorry. Does the limiting frictional force depend on?
Visha, we have to write this question.
Yes, write this one. On the area of the surface in contact. For this, I'm going to use a diagram that is straight away from your textbook, right? This is straight away from your textbook. So, it's a bit windy here. So, එකින්ද වෙන්න ඇති පොඩ මගේ connection එක lag වෙන්නේ. Because both of my networks are a bit unstable. It's probably because of the wind. So, එහෙම මොන හරි එකපාරට stuck වුණොත් වගේ මට චුට්ටක් කියන්න, then I can repeat what I said now. Okay. Now here, this is the same block of wood. Let's say this is wood, right? So here, this is the same block of wood and there are these are different areas. බලන්න මේ block එකේ A කියන area එක වෙනස්. A කියන area එක වෙනස්. C කියන area එක වෙනස්. And then there's the area B, which is again different. Three different areas of the same cuboid. Cuboid එක කියන්නේ මොකද්ද කියලා බලන්න දන්නවනේ. So cuboid shaped block of wood, right? So මම මුලින්ම කරනවා මෙන්න මේ පැත්තට හරවලා තියලා as usual මම මේකට Newton's balance එකක් fix කරනවා. Right? So Newton's balance එකක් fix කරනවා and then fix කරලා I will slowly drag it. Right? මම චුට්ට චුට්ට මේක drag කරලා මේක move වෙන පටන් ගන්නකොටම I stop and I get the record. Record the
Teacher,
yes.
teacher, the brick, this brick is on a sandpaper or in a smooth surface?
Doesn't matter. Let's say it's the same surface anyhow. May instances name it's the same surface, whether it's a rough surface or a smooth surface. So what we do is we are going to fix the Newton balance and we are going to slowly pull it. As soon as the object starts moving, I stop and I record the force. That is the limiting frictional force, right? Then මෙතනදී table එකට contact වෙලා තියෙන්නේ A කියන area එකද B කියන area එකද C කියන area එකද? Which area is in contact with the other surface? What do you think? A, right? මොකද මේ පැත්තේ A
A.
න. Yes, එයාට opposite පැත්තත් A නේ. So here A is in contact with the surface. A is in contact, right? So මෙතනදී when I record මට limiting frictional force මොකක් හරි value එකක් එනවා. Then I flip the sides. Now I'm going to place my block of wood like this. And then again, I'm going to fix the Newton's balance and I'm going to slowly pull it. And as soon as it starts moving, I will record the force. And there again,
Teacher,
I get... Yes, Ashwita.
teacher, when you're talking, it's like little lagging.
Is it? Anita's lag වෙනවද? Chenuli, is it lagging?
Sometimes, teacher.
Sometimes, no? This is a huge problem. Then
It's like here it is good.
can you all hear me now? Lama, can you all hear me now? Wait, one second, I will...
Now can hear. Before in me.
No, I think I need to change this. Balamapi. One second, Lamai. Okay. Now tell me whether you can hear me because I changed the network. It's a new one. Balan make it a hariyayida kiyala balamapi. Can you all hear me now? Chenuli?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. මේකත් stuck වුණොත් කියන්නේ මේක stuck වුණොත් නම් ඇත්තටම this is my last option. But we'll see. We'll see. Before I go to the lesson, Amma, I'm really sorry. My recording අනිවාර්යෙන් එවන්න. Last week's recording. I will send it.
Okay, teacher.
මේ ඇත්තටම as I said earlier මට මේ everything was a bit messed up. So මම අද ඉඳන් තමයි ඇත්තටම ඔක්කොම sort out කරන්නේ. So all the recordings, everything I will send. Okay. Now, in this second instance, what we are going to do is, again, we are going to do the same thing, right? Same thing, but here what we are going to do is, api block of wood එක flip කරනවා. Now, which surface is in contact with the other surface? Which surface is in contact with the, let's say, table?
B.
B, very good. Yes, Amma, yes, Mayundi B. I may පැත්ත තියෙන B නම් යාට opposite එක කෙනානේ මේසට contact වෙලා තියෙන. So that's B. So in this particular case, B is in contact, right? Again, I record the reading on the Newton's balance and I get a certain force. That is my limiting frictional force. In this particular case, again, I'm going to do the same thing, but which surface is in contact with the table now?
B.
C.
C, good, C, because this is C and I'm happy to say C, right? Again, what I do is I find the limiting frictional force by dragging it slowly. And as soon as it starts to move, I record the limiting frictional force, right? Now, the surprising or not, the thing is that in both the instances, the limiting frictional force recorded were the same. Area එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. The area that is in contact with the table changes, but the limiting frictional force has been the same. ඒ කියන්නේ ළමයි, does limiting frictional force depend on the area that is in contact? Hmm? What do you think? No, because areas තුනේදී මට ආව එකම limiting frictional force එක. Right, areas තුනේම if I got the same limiting frictional force, that means area that is in contact does not affect the limiting frictional force. Right, okay. Can you draw this diagram? ගොඩාක් ලොකුවට complicated නෙමෙයි, නිකන් හරිම simple විදියට අඳගන්න බලන්න මේ diagram එක, because I want to write a few sentences. Quickly. Quickly draw this, ළමයි. And once you draw this, යටින් මේ මම ලියන ටික ලියා ගන්න. Now, Lamai, this is very important because may godak MCQs ala hana. Not only in like term test papers, but also in the O-level papers, they ask this a lot. What are the factors that affect friction? So, egolang godak try karana ogolanta matakayda kiyala that area is not a factor. That area does not affect limiting frictional force. Let me know when you're done lighting. Done, Lamai?
No, teacher.
Okay. Quickly draw. Quickly write, Lamaya.
Teacher, done.
Okay, what about others? Ama, Mayumdi, still writing? Senet, Lasas?
Done, teacher.
Okay. Then we'll move on. Now put a topic. Put a topic, applications of friction. Applications of friction. So on the applications of friction, අපි කතා කරනවා friction, how is it used in real life, right? How we use friction in real life, right? So under that, එකක් අපි කතා කරනවා what are the advantages of friction, right? Why is friction good? Then we are going to talk about how we can reduce friction. Sometimes friction තියෙන එක පොඩ්ඩක් disadvantage එකක්. ඒ වගේ වෙලාවට we want to reduce friction, right? So මේ දෙක I will explain. First of all, we'll talk about how to reduce friction, right? So let's say there are two surfaces that are very rough, right? Itana, I'm gonna like, let's say there's one surface and there's an object on this surface. Now both, let's say this surface is very rough. This surface is very rough, so it's hard for you to move the object. What is one thing that you can do? Or even the other surface. If one of the two surfaces or even both the surfaces are rough, අපිට friction අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන් එක විදියක් තමයි by polishing. Right, by polishing. We can either use a sandpaper. You have heard වැලි කඩදාසිය, right? වැලි කඩදාසියෙන් අතුල්ලලා we can polish a surface. Or we can use any other methods and we can polish the surfaces. When we polish, what happens is that our roughness එක නැති වෙනවා. Roughness එක නැති වෙලා smooth වෙනවා. Okay, so when it's smooth, what happens? Smooth වෙනවා කියන්නේ friction අඩු වෙනවා. Friction අඩු වෙනවා කියන්නේ the motion will happen easier, right? So one way of reducing friction is polishing the surfaces, right? Another way is that I'm sorry, my throat is a bit bad. So another way is that using, especially for certain machines වල වගේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට use කරන දෙයක් තමයි lubrication oils. Lubrication oil කියලා කියන්නේ, let's say it's difficult to move two surfaces, lubrication oil එක දැම්මම හරියම ලේසියෙන් ලිස්සනවා, right? And sometimes they even use graphite, right? Graphite කියන්නේ මොනවද කියලා දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා. Graphite is mineral which is in pencils, which is a form of carbon, right? So graphite, දැන් අපි pencilෙන් කොහොමද ලියන්නේ? How is it easy for us to write using a pencil? Because the pencil nicely glides on the paper. ඒ කියන්නේ අර graphite හරියම ලිස්සනවා. කියන්නේ graphite ලස්සනට ලියවෙන්නේ ඒක නිසා, right? So graphite use කරන්න පුළුවන්, lubrication oil use කරන්න පුළුවන්, එහෙම නැත්නම් grease use කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ වගේ ඒවා වලින් කරන්නේ surfaces වල roughness එක අඩු කරලා smooth කරන එක. ලිස්සන්න ලේසි වෙනවා. ලිස්සන්න ලේසි වෙනවා කියන්නේ it's easy to move, right? Then another thing is that, let me get this picture. This is called a ball bearing, right? These are ball bearings. What happens is that, let's say there are two surfaces. ගොඩක් මේකත් use කරන machines වල. ලොකු machines වලම use කරනවා. Let's say there are two surfaces which are constantly moving against each other. When these two surfaces are constantly moving against each other, what happens is that the two surfaces will get damaged. හැම වෙලේම එකින් එක ඇතිල්ලනවා කියන්නේ the two surfaces can get damaged. අපි කියන්නේ ගෙවෙනවා කියලා. Parts ගෙවෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒකයි. So what we can do is we can use ball bearings. Ball bearings වලින් කරන්නේ එතකොට අර parts දෙක directly contact වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මැද ball bearings තියෙනවා. එතකොට බෝලේ roll වෙනකොට ඒත් එක්කම the two surfaces can get nicely moved, right? The two surfaces can nicely move using ball bearings, right? So that is another way of how we can reduce friction. Put a question.
Did we write any answer for first question?
I didn't give any first question, no? අපි topic එක දුන්නා ලස්සස් applications of friction කියලා, that's it.
Fisher, no, I guess he's asking third question.
This one.
Yes, teacher.
ඒකේ උත්තරේ තමයි මේ ලිව්වේ. මේක අතරම theory part එක. මට අර sub topic එකක් කියනක මම question form එකෙන් තමයි ගන්න දුන්නේ. So
Okay, teacher.
question එකේ තියෙනවා, does the limiting frictional force depend on the area of the surface in contact? And then we discussed it, and at the end we wrote, therefore limiting frictional force does not depend on the area of surface in contact, right? And then we moved on to the new topic, applications of friction. Put a question. What are the methods for reducing friction between? Yes, Sama, any question?
teacher topic එක applications of friction ද?
Oh, topic එක applications of friction.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So question Q කියලා දාලා ලියාගන්න මේ question එක, what are the methods for reducing friction between surfaces? මේකේ උත්තරේ you have to write alone as homework. Right now that I explained, you can polish the surfaces. You can use lubrication oil or grease or graphite. Then you can also use ball bearings between surfaces. So these are a few methods of reducing friction. So ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ ගෙදර ගිහලා textbook එකක් කියවලා you write it alone.
Can you tell the question again?
The question is on the board. What are the methods for reducing friction between the surfaces?
Teacher, like we have to write the answer like sentences or like a paragraph.
Sentences, just points with Eliana. Obviously it's easier for us to study when they are in the form of points, you know. Okay. Now let's talk about the advantages of friction. How is friction good? How to reduce friction. Now let's talk about how to increase the friction, or how to increase again how friction is good for us. Well, how is it an advantage, right? So one thing is that when we are walking, how can we walk like this? Now, අපි කකුල තියන්නේ angle එකකින්, right? ඉස්සරහට කකුල අඩිය තියන්නේ angle එකකින්. ඇයි අපිව ලිස්සන්නේ නැත්තේ? Because there is a friction between our foot and the floor or the ground, whatever, right? Because of that friction, we are able to walk properly, right? But let's say ඔයා හොඳට grease හරි මොන හරි දාපු මාර ලිස්සන surface එකකට ගියා කියලා. එතකොට ඔයාව ලිස්සන්න තියෙන chance එක වැඩි. But on a normal surface, it's easy for us to walk because there is friction. If there was no friction, what will happen is that when you place your foot at an angle, you will slip, right? You will slip. But because of friction, you will not slip because of the friction between the foot and the surface, right? Then also, another advantage of friction is that lamai ogolange vehicles wala mokakari, whether it's a bicycle or a tuk or a car or a lorry or whatever, you have seen tires වල තියෙනවා grooves. අර මේ වලවල් වගේ තියෙන චුට්ටි grooves. Have you all seen this?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. These grooves are there to actually increase the friction. ඇයි මේ friction වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ in a vehicle? Yes.
Because on rainy season, like the roads are slippery, so the grooves help the vehicle to catch friction, like to
Yes, to increase the friction. Yes. So normal road එකේ සමහර road වල carpet කරලා හොඳට polished roads තියෙනවානේ. ඒ roads වල slip වෙන්න තියෙන chance එක වැඩි. That is one thing. Then if the roads are wet, right, for some reason it could most probably be rain. So when the roads are wet, again there is a very high chance for the vehicle to skid. So that's not a good thing. That is why there are grooves on the tires. මේ grooves වලින් කරන්නේ tire surface එක rough කරනවා. Right? නැත්තම් grooves තිබුණ නැත්තම් the tire surface would be smooth, no? But since there are grooves, the surface of the tire would be rough. Because it's rough, you know, when it's roughness වැඩි වෙනවා කියන්නේ frictional force එක වැඩි වෙනවා. So because the tire surface is rough, frictional force will be high. Because of that, the vehicle will not skid. Vehicle එක ලිස්සන්න නැතුව normal විදිහටම even rainy roads වලත් ඒ කියන්නේ wet roads වලත් යන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So that is another advantage of friction. Another thing is that sometimes when you play sports, normal shoes වල සමහරවිට නැහැ, but most of the shoes that you wear for sports, if I'm right, there are grooves underneath the shoes. ඒකෙත් නිකන් අර පොඩි grooves වගේ තියෙනවා. That is also to increase the friction. I know badminton shoes do have them.
spikes.
Anna, spikes. I think that's what you call them. right? So that is because ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඉන්ඩෝර් කරන ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වල තමයි තියෙන්නේ ඒ වගේ shoes. Outdoor sports වලත් I don't have much knowledge on that. But ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඉන්ඩෝර් කරන ස්පෝර්ට්ස් වල ඒවා තියෙනවා. Because in outdoor නම් it's mostly the ground, right? But indoor there's some polished surface නේ. එතකොට ස්පෝර්ට් එක ප්ලේ කරාදී ඔයාව ලිස්සන් තියෙන chance එක වැඩි. වැටෙන්න තියෙන chance එක වැඩි. So that is why you're supposed to wear shoes that have spikes or grooves or something like that, because then the friction will be high. Then there is less chance of you falling, slipping, right? අනිත් එක තමයි ළමයි අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම කඹ, right? කඹ අදිනවා කියලා කියන්නේ කඹේ, you know the කඹේ, right? coir ropes කියලා කියන්නේ කඹේ, right? මේවා හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ if you have closely observed the coir rope, ඒවා චූටි චූටි fibers ගොඩක් ගෙතිලා තමයි හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. Have you all observed that? Have you all noticed that? Yes. ලනුව or කඹේ හැදිලා තියෙන චූටි චූටි fibers ගොඩක් එකතු වෙලා. අර ගොතල වගේ තමයි හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. So these fibers, we call them coir fibers. Coir fibers. These fibers are rough. Because these fibers are rough, ඒගොල්ලන් ගොතල වගේ මේ කඹේ හදද්දී fibers එකිනෙක friction වැඩි හින්දා they don't move. Because of that, the coir rope is very strong, right? So coir rope එක හැදිලා තියෙන coir fibers වලින්. The fibers are rough. Because of that, the friction between the fibers are high. එහෙම වුණාම fibers ගැලවෙන්නේ නැහැ because the friction is high now. Then what will happen is that when these fibers make the coir rope, the rope will be very strong. ගැලවෙන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි අපිට let's say do you all know the tangus නූල නැත්නම් nylon string එකෙන් වගේ කඹ හදන්න බෑ because they are very smooth. ඒතර ඒවා හැම වෙලේම ලිස්සනවා, ගොතන්න බෑ like the coir rope. So that is another advantage of friction. Then another one would be applying brakes in vehicles, right? So let me get this picture which is on your textbook. දැන් මෙතන වෙලා තියෙන ළමයි මෙහෙම තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් brake apply කරද්දි වෙන්නේ, right? So usually when you or somebody else is driving a vehicle, even a motorcycle, අපි brake එක පාගනවා හරි brake එක we apply the brakes, you know. So when we apply the brakes, what will happen is that there are two things called brake pads. Brake pads කියලා දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. ඔයා brake එක පාගද්දී ඒ force එක මේ brake pads දෙකට දෙපැත්තේ ඇවිල්ලා brake pads දෙක මෙහෙම tire එකට තද වෙනවා. tire එකට තද වෙද්දි තමයි tire එක rotate වෙන එක නවත්තන්නේ. Right? When you apply brakes, there is a certain force. That force will come to the brake pads. So the brake pads will press on to the tire from both the sides. That will stop the tire from rotating. Then only the vehicle will stop. Right? So here again, there is a friction between the brake pads and the wheel or the tire. Tire can be wheel wheel brake pads atre. There's a friction. That is why the wheel stopped when the brake pads pressed on it, right? The same thing you can see in a motor, like not a motorcycle, a bicycle, right? So again, the picture is on the textbook. I will get that picture here. Where is it? Okay, Lama, can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can
It
you hear?
was lagging.
Now I'm lagging.
Teacher, like at last, like we can't hear what you're coming to say.
May brake pads එක ඇහුණාද ඔයගන්ට? This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I was talking about a bicycle, right? දැන් lag වෙනවද මාවන් right now?
Yes, teacher, you are lagging.
Teacher, it's lagging.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, one second. Let me see. Mm.
Teacher, most probably because there is no signal. It's like windy. It's going to rain. That's why.
Yeah, same here actually. That's probably why, yes. I really don't like situations like this. Mm. Give me a second. Lamai, can you hear me now?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Let's hope. Okay. So, මම දැන් අපි දැන් කී කී බ්‍රේක්ස් ගැනනේ. So bicycle එකෙත් එහෙමම තමයි. ඔයා bicycle handle එකෙන් brakes apply කරද්දී මේ brake pads දෙක, these are the two brake pads here. This. So මේ brake pads දෙක ගිහලා wheel එකට press වෙනවා. එතකොට තමයි wheel එකේ නවතින්නේ, right? So these are advantages of friction. And again, put a topic, put a question. Put a question. What are the methods of, sorry, what are the advantages of friction? Again, this is something that you need to write alone from what I explained and what is on the textbook. You write it. Textbook එකම මේකේ ලියන්න, we don't have to waste time during the class. No, that's why I'm asking you to do it as homework. Quickly.
Teacher, done.
Okay. Now we will move on to a new lesson. We're done with friction now, right? We're done with friction. So we are supposed to do the cell lesson. Plant and animal cell lesson. But since we don't have the note yet, we will skip that. We will go to quantification, which is an absolutely important lesson. I can't even begin to talk about how important quantification is. That lesson we will start today. So the reason why we are skipping cell lesson is because we don't have the note, which I will send it. I told you, sort out when or then. So I will definitely send you that note as well. So after quantification only, we will do the cell lesson, right? So lesson that we are doing today, therefore, is quantification of elements and compounds. Quantification of elements and compounds. Now, Lamai, I have to first talk about how important this lesson is, right? May lesson this forms the basis or the foundation for a lot of chemical calculations. Chemistry වල තියෙන calculations වලට. කියන්නේ ගණන් හදන්න තියෙන questions වලට foundation එක තනිකර වැටෙන්නේ මේ quantification කියන lesson එකෙන්. Trust me, most නෙමෙයි, some of the grade 11 students, I would say most actually, මොකද මට ගොඩාක් ඒ වගේ ළමයි හම්බෙලා තියෙනවා grade 11 වල. They don't have the knowledge on quantification. ඒගොල්ලෝ quantification knowledge එක නෑ. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ lesson එක හරියට කරලා නෑ. නැත්නම් ඒ lesson එක කරන වෙලේ උගන් හරියට අහන් ඉඳලා නෑ. නැත්නම් කවුරු හරි හොඳට ඒ lesson එක උගන්වලා නෑ. Right? So ගොඩක් වෙලාවට chemistry වල ළමයිට තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තමයි මේ quantification, like chemistry වල calculations, right? This is an extremely important lesson because of that. I can't even remember how many students have come to me to asking me to do this lesson for them. So many individual classes as well. I've done just for this lesson and one more chemistry lesson. ඒ දෙක තමයි chemistry වල calculations lessons වලට තියෙන්නේ. Right? ඒකද ඔයගලන් දැනගන්න grade 10 වල chemistry වල තියෙන මාර්ම important lesson එකක් තමයි මේක, and මේ lesson එක අපි use කරනවා I grade 11 වල. So when we go to grade 11, there is no way that I will teach this again. දැන් grade 11 ඉන්න කට්ටියගෙන් ගොඩක් අය මාත් එක්ක grade 10 වල හිටියේ නෑ. So ඒගොල්ලන්ට මම quantification ආයෙ මුලින් ඉඳන් කරා. So එච්චර important lesson එකක් තමයි අපි දැන් පටන් ගන්න හදන්නේ. So මුලින් ඉඳන් ඉගෙන හොඳට ඔක්කොම අහගන්න. මෙතනින් ඔයගාන්ට මේක මිස් වුණොත් එම chemistry වල ගොඩක් තැන්වලදී ඔයා stuck වෙනවා. Right? So lesson is quantification. Quantification of elements and compounds, right? So basically what we do here is that අපි කරන්න හදන quantify කරනවා. Quantify කරනවා කියන්නේ count කරනවා. කීයක් තියනවද? මේකෙන් කොච්චර තියනවද? Right? අර ඒ වගේ count කරන එක. To have some idea about the amount, only we use the lesson, we use this concept quantification, right? Okay, let's say a certain atom, right? අපි කියමු carbon atom එකක්. Carbon is a very common element, no? Then carbon atom එකක mass එක කවුරු මගෙන් අහනවා. So one of you will ask me, what is the mass of an atom of carbon? මම කියනවා,
Excuse me, teacher.
yes.
Teacher, there's a connection problem. Can you say again?
Can what? Can you
There's
not?
a connection. No. Like there's a connection problem in my network.
All right. From which point did you miss?
Like when you're writing the topic, I missed.
After that, I didn't say anything. Lesson එකේ topic එක තමයි පස්සේ මොනවද කිව්වේ නෑ. මම කිව්වේ, yes, what I said was that quantification කියන lesson එක අපි use කරන්නේ to count or to get an idea about the amount of something. So let's say carbon මෙච්චරක් කිව්වම කොච්චරක්ද එතන carbon? Right? හරියටම atoms, molecules, whatever කොච්චර තියනවද කියලා, right? To have an idea about the amount only we use quantification. Okay. So one of you will come and ask me, what is the mass of a carbon atom? Right? Carbon atom එකක mass එක. මම කියනවා carbon atom එකක mass එක is 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. At a glance, you can see how small of a value this is. මේ minus 23 කියලා කියන්නේ මේ decimal point එක 23 පාරක් ඉස්සරහට යනවා. So it would be 0.00000001993. So ඔයා මේක scientific notation ලියපු in the shape, but ඔයා හරි value එක ලියුවොත් එimhe it's extremely small. So මේ වගේ එකක් අපිට අත්‍තරම grams වලින් කියන එක it's not practical. Because a carbon atom, an oxygen atom, a nitrogen atom, a sodium atom, a hydrogen atom, any of these atoms, they are extremely small. You can't see them from your naked eye. කොහෙලත් වට ඇස් දෙකට atom එකක් පේන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So it's extremely small and they have a very low mass. Grams වලින් ගත්තොත් එimhe this much. 0.0000000 so on, and then only 1993. එච්චර චූටි value එකක් grams වලින් කියන එක practical නෑ කියන එක we have to understand, right? Because it's not practical to express the amount of atoms in grams, එක scientists ලා they have come up with different ways how to express the mass of atoms and molecules. Okay, so එක යුනිට් එකක් තමයි දැන් මේ grams, kilograms, ton, milligram වගේ. For atoms and molecules, there's a unit called, don't write anything, Mama, yeah? There's a unit called atomic mass unit. There's a unit called atomic mass unit, right? So atomic mass unit කියලා කියන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම එකක්. කවුරු කිව්වොත් එමාට මෙතන තියෙනවා atomic mass unit මෙච්චරක්. Then you don't get an idea no අපි සම්බන්ධයෙන් ඔළුවට යන්නේ grams වලින් කිව්වොත් we understand. Kilograms වලින් කිව්වොත් we understand. Milligrams වලින් කිව්වොත් again we have an idea. Right? Tons වලින් කිව්වොත් again we might have an idea. But atomic mass unit වලින් කොහොම we have no idea. Right? ඒකින්ද අපි කියමු atomic mass unit කියන්නේ it's something like this. Atomic mass unit equals අපි කියනවා mass of the carbon 612 isotope divided by 12 is the value of atomic mass unit. I will explain this one second. So atomic mass unit එක කියන්නේ mass of the carbon 612 isotope. You know what isotopes are already. That mass you divide by 12, then you get the value of an atomic mass unit, right? ඒ කියන්නේ one atomic mass unit කියලා කියන්නේ mass of a carbon 612 isotope. I will tell you it's actually 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. That you divide by 12. So value of one atomic mass unit is මේක divide කරාම උත්තරේ එනවා 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams would be the value of one atomic mass unit. Okay. දැන් ළමයි මම කිව්වහම atomic mass unit කියලා or I say AMU or atomic mass unit ඕගලන්ට idea එකක් නැහැ කොච්චර quantity එකක්ද ඒක කියලා. Since you don't have an idea about the quantity මම කියනවා atomic mass unit එකක් කියන්නේ carbon 612 isotope එකේ mass එක අරගෙන when you divide it by 12 you get the value of one atomic mass unit. So එහෙම කිව්වහම අපි ඒක කරලා බලනවා. So අපි carbon 612 isotope එකේ mass එක අරගෙන we divide it by 12. Then we get this amount. Now you have an idea about the atomic mass unit because that is equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. The atomic mass unit එකේ value එක මම grams වලින් කිව්වම ඔයගොල්ලෝ පොඩි idea එකක් යනවා because you know what grams are, right? So this would be something very small like 0.000000166, right? So this is the value of one atomic mass unit. Atomic mass unit කියන්නේ මේවට අපි use කරන එක unit එකක්. Did you all understand that? Chenuli?
Yes, teacher.
Senet, Lasas?
Teacher, can you explain something?
What, Ashita?
Can you explain it once more?
Yes. So I told you now when we talk about mass, there are units like kilograms, grams, milligrams, tons likewise. So we know all of these units, right? But if you take an atom එකක mass එක මම grams වලින් කියන්න ගියොත් it is extremely small. See 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23. That means 0.00000 එම ගොඩාක් zeros තියෙනවා. So it's an extremely small value. Because of that, grams වලින් mass එක කියන එක practical නැහැ. ඒක හින්දා අපි units එක එක විදි බලනවා කොහොමද අපි atom එකක mass එක කියන්නේ කියලා. So one such way is atomic mass unit, right? Atomic mass unit කම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට idea එකක් නැහැනේ, right? So අපි බලමු මොකක්ද atomic mass unit කියන්නේ කියලා. So atomic mass unit is mass of the carbon 612 isotope you divide by 12, right? The mass of the carbon 612 isotope, again, you don't know. Ekina mama ogante value එක දෙනවා. It's 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. That I divide by 12. then I get 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. This is the value of one atomic mass unit. ඒක මම grams වලින් කිව්වම මොකක්ද පොඩි idea එකක් එනවනේ, right? So මෙතන ඇයි මම මෙහෙම එකක් කිව්වේ? Why carbon 612 isotope?
Yeah. Teacher, can you solve
Yes.
it again?
Solving part you don't need to know. ඔයා කියන්නේ simplification කොහොමද divide කරේ කියලා නේද?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, division
How
part
do,
you don't need to know.
how do we get the 24 minus 24?
That part, that like this. මෙහෙම. So before I show you that, Lamai, you don't have to know the simplification part. It's absolutely not necessary. Anyways, Ogalam 1.993 make anyways this is maths. So make it then 23 you divide by 12 ne. When you divide this by 12 may have 12 and divide කරන්න බෑ. This is the number of zeros, right? අපි divide කරන්නේ මෙයාව. Okay. So මෙයාව අපි 12 වලින් divide කරාම මට උත්තරේ එනවා 0.166 මේ 10 to the power minus 23 එකක් මෙතනට එනවා. What does this mean? මේ කියන්නේ මේ decimal point එක 23 places ඉස්සරහට ගෙනියන්න ඕනේ කියන එක නේද ළමයි? Do you all understand that? Classes, do you understand that?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Now අපි ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා scientific notation වල when we are expressing a number in scientific notation හැමලේම 0 එකට කලින් මොකක් හරි එක number එකක් තියෙනෝනේ that is not 0. Sorry. Decimal point එකට කලින් එක number එකක් තියෙනෝනේ that is not 0. ඒකද මම මොකද කරන්නේ decimal point එක එකක් පස්සට ගන්නවා. So I write the decimal point like this. Into 10 to the power දැන් මෙතන ඉඳන් 23 places ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕනේනේ. එතන ඉඳන් 23 places ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕනේ කියන්නේ මම දැන් decimal point එකක් පස්සට දැම්මනේ. I brought the decimal point here. දැන් මෙතන ඉඳන් එහෙනම් 24 places ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕනේද? Because there's one more place being added. So from here you have to bring the decimal point 23 places forward. But if I bring the decimal point one step back, එතන ඉඳන් එහෙනම් 24 places යන්න ඕනේ නේද ළමයි? Do you all understand that?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. That is why I put 10 to the power minus 24 here.
Teacher, why do we have to solve it? Why don't we have to solve it?
That is because මේ දැන් මේක ආයමත් තව වෙන relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass කියලා මේ වගේම calculations, right? A calculation මේවා වල ඔයගලන්ගේ expect කරන්නේ that you know the concept. For an example, when I ask you what atomic mass unit is, you should be able to say, that is the mass of carbon 612 isotope. You divide by 12, then only you get the atomic mass unit. ඒ ගානට දැනගත්තාම ඇති. Simplification part එක ඔයගලන්ට එන්නේ නැහැ. Because no point no මේවා divide කරන්න ගියාම decimal places ගොඩාක් එනවා.
In
Right?
grade 11 too, teacher.
Yes, in grade 11 too. මෙහෙමයි.
අපිට
Simplification
එක්සෑම් එකට මේ වගේ සිම්ප්ලිකේෂන් කරන්නේ නැද්ද?
මේ simplification එක කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයගලන් ඉස්කෝලේ හදන paper එක කොහොම වේද කියලා දන්නේ නැහැ. But provincial papers and O-level papers වල complicated simplifications එන්නේ නැහැ. That much I can guarantee. But let's say it's a very simple calculation, then they can give. මේවයි මේක ඇත්තටම syllabus එකේ කියලා නැහැ that these calculations will strictly not be there on the paper කියලා. But all these time O-level papers කිසිම එකක මේ වගේ calculations තිබිලා නැහැ. Because always O-level වල කියන්නේ O-level හරි provincial papers වල හරි මේ level එකේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ expect කරන්නේ මේ concept එක දැනන් ඉන්න එක. මේ concept එක දැනන් there are some questions obviously සමහර calculations උගන්ට කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේ calculations විතරයි කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. So what is expected from you is that you know the concept. Right? Yes, Ashwita.
Is now like mass of 612 carbon isotope. Like if they ask the mass, like we have to say 993 into like
But you don't have to
we
know.
have to
No. මේවා memorize කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. Maths related කිසිම දෙයක් memorize කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. මෙන්න මේක චුට්ටක් මතක තියාගන්න. One atomic mass unit එක value එක මතක තියාගන්න. But mass of these atoms no. අත්තර මම තව කියන්නම් ඉස්සරහට තව ඒවා තියෙනවා. ඒවා තිබ්බට ඔයගොල්ලෝ memorize කරන්න ඕනේ නැතිව ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. atomic mass unit එකේ value එක චුට්ටක් මතක තියාගන්න. That is kind of important. But these no. එහෙම නම් ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලන් කවුරු කියලා expect කරයිද? Like who can memorize all of these? Even I don't remember. මම මේ textbook එක බලලා textbook එක නැතිව I just Google and find, right? We don't have to memorize that. Not even the chemists have memorized this, right? No point, no, because they are if you have Google or some reliable source, always you can get these values. Value එකට වඩා හැමලේ මතක තියාගන්න concept එක. මේක කොහොමද කරන්න කියලා මම දන්නවද? Right? ඒකයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ expect කරන්නේ. But atomic mass unit එකේ value එක මතක තියාගන්න. මම ඔයගොල්ලන් memorize කරන්න කියනවා විතරක් memorize කරන්න. අනිත් ඒවා don't waste your energy. Why? So මෙතන මට ප්‍රශ්නයක්
The answer is the 1.66 by 10 minus 24.
10 to the minus 24, yes.
We can't solve it more.
No. කොහොමද තව solve කරන්නේ? එහෙනම් ඔයා decimal place එක 24 places ඉස්සරහට ලියලා 0.000000000 හොම ලියලා 166. එහෙම තමයි ලියන්න වෙන්නේ. There's no more simplification, no? Okay, Lasas.
Okay, teacher.
This is the final answer. This is the value of one atomic mass unit, right? Now my question is, why are we using the carbon 612 isotope? ඇයි අපි carbon කියන්නේ නැතුව carbon 612 කියලා හරිම specifically කියන්නේ? Why? ළමයි carbon වල අපි isotopes කරන වෙලාවේ අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තා carbon has 3 isotopes. Carbon 612, carbon 613 and carbon 614, right? 6x66 කියන එක වැඩක් නැහැ. That is atomic number. අපි ඒක අමතක කරලා දාමුකෝ. What about this? 12, 13, 14. These are mass numbers. Mass numbers කියලා කියන්නේ they are about the mass. Carbon 612 isotope එකේ mass එකට related තමයි 12 කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Right? That is the number of protons and neutrons. Carbon 613 එකේ mass එක 13. Carbon 614 එකේ mass එකට relevant තමයි 14 කියලා තියෙන්නේ. So likewise, these are mass numbers. Mass numbers are about the mass of that atom. ඒක හින්දා අපි හරියටම කියන්න ඕනේ මම carbon වල මොන isotope එකද use කරන්න කියලා. If I just say carbon atom, අනිත් කෙනා දන්නේ නැහැනේ මොකද්ද carbon 12 ද carbon 13 ද carbon 14 ද use කරේ කියලා because these three have different masses. So because of that, you have to be very specific which isotope you are using. That is why අපි හරියටම specifically කියන්නේ අපි carbon 612 isotope එක තමයි use කරන්න කියලා. Is that clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes,
Senate?
teach.
Okay. Shenuli, Mayumdi, Senate. What about you all?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Understand.
All clear, miss.
Okay. Now, did you put the topic quantification of elements and compounds? Quickly put the topic. Quantification of elements and compounds. So once we are done with this lesson, මේ lesson එක ඉවර වුණාම I will make sure ඔයගලන් හරියට class එකේ අහන් හිටියොත් ඒ ඔක්කොම කරොත් I will make sure that this lesson will be like water for you all. Right? මේ lesson එක water වගේ කියලා කියන්නේ you are definitely better than other students of your age. ගොඩාක් අයට මේ lesson එක I don't know, it's not that difficult. This lesson is not that difficult anyways, but most of the students actually struggle. Papers බලද්දී ගොඩාක් වෙලාවට ළමයි වරද්දලා තියෙනවා quantification related questions. ඔයගලන්ට මේක ළඟදී තේරෙයි ඇයි කියලා because it's not that difficult. Quantification of elements and compounds. Put a star and write. When considering
Teacher, what's the topic? Atomic mass number?
No. මොනාම නෑ topic එක main topic එක විතරයි. So අපේ main topic එක මොකක්ද? Quantification of elements and compounds. So under that main topic, under this main topic, ලියන්න when considering example. hydrogen 1 isotope එක. So you write this and then put the subtopic atomic mass unit and then atomic mass unit එක ලියා ගන්න. Give me 1 minute. Done ළමයි?
Yes, teacher.
Others?
Done, teacher.
Okay. So අපි atomic mass unit එක මතක තියාගනිමු. දැන් අපි කතා කරමු there's something called relative atomic mass, right? So let's put the topic and then I will explain. Relative atomic mass. The symbol for relative atomic mass is atomic හින්දා A, relative හින්දා simple R මෙහෙම පොඩියට ලියනවා. Subscript. Okay. So relative atomic mass කියන එක අපි use කරන්නේ atoms වලට, right? For atoms. Carbon atom, oxygen atom, hydrogen atom, nitrogen atom, sodium atom, chlorine, fluorine. Likewise, for atoms, we use this method of finding mass, right? So I will tell you, මේක අපිට තියෙනවා methods දෙකක්. There are two methods how we can find relative atomic mass. So අපි කරන් යනකොට ඔයගන්ට තේරෙයි. එකක් තමයි relative atomic mass equals mass of an atom of the element divided by 1/12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope, right? So this is the first method of finding relative atomic mass. කොහොමද හිතන්නකෝ ඔයාලට කියනවා carbon වල relative atomic mass එක හොයන්න කියලා. So carbon වල relative atomic mass එක හොයන්න කියද්දී ඔයා carbon atom එකක mass එක අරගෙන that you divide by 1/12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope, right? හැම වෙලේම ළමයි ඔයාලට notice වෙනවා ඇති අපි common එක්කෙනා විදිහට use කරන්නේ carbon 612 isotope එක, right? Here also we use carbon 612 isotope. That is like the reference. එයාව තමයි use කරන්නේ. One second. Okay. So let's discuss an example. Let's discuss an example. Example. Mass of an oxygen atom is 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Okay. Then mama කියනවා find its relative atomic mass කියලා. Let's see how to do this. So අපි දන්නවා this is the formula. Formula එක මේක. Right? Relative atomic mass වල formula එක මේක. Here now we need the mass of an atom of the element. So mass of an atom of the element මෙන්න මේ කියනවා mass of an oxygen atom is 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams divided by 1/12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope එකත් usually ඒගොල්ලන් දෙනවා that is always 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Here grams කැපෙනවා 10 to the power minus 23, 10 to the power minus 23 කැපිලා. Your final answer would be 16. Actually, it's 16.02. It's going to be 16.02. Right? So, මෙතනදී relative atomic mass එකේ final answer එකට ළමයි unit එකක් නැහැ. Because see here, මෙතන grams තියෙනවා, මෙතන grams තියෙනවා, grams කැපෙනවා. So, the final answer will not have a unit. So this is actually one way of expressing the mass of elements. දැන් මම ඔයාලට කිව්වොත් එහෙම oxygen atom එකක mass එක 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 කියලා. It's very inconvenient, right? Because it's a very small value. ඒ වෙනුවට මම ඔයාලට කිව්වොත් oxygen atom එකක relative atomic mass එක 16 කියලා, it's much more easier to understand. It's 16. 16 is a very easy number, right? That is why we use relative atomic mass. Do you all understand this?
Teacher, can you
Yes, Lasas. Do you want me to explain this again?
yes, teacher.
Okay. So, දැන් ළමයි relative atomic mass එක කියලා කියන්නේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් I told you, right? When we talk about the mass of an element, 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 hari 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 hari කිව්වොත් it's a very small value. ඒකින්ද අපි මේ අලුත් methods try කරනවා to express the mass of an atom without using 10 to the power minus 23 ඒ වගේ complicated ඒවා නැතුව. So one way is relative atomic mass, right? මොකක් හරි එලිමන්ට් එකක relative atomic mass එක කියලා කියන්නේ අපි ඒ එලිමන්ට් එකෙන් එක ඇටම් එකක් ගන්නවා, right? එක ඇටම් එකක mass එක ගන්නවා. අරගෙන we divide that by 1 over 12 into 10 to the power, 1 over 12 into mass of the carbon 612 isotope. This is the formula for finding relative atomic mass of any element. Right? දැන් මම ඔයගලන්ට කිව්වොත් එහෙම I will add a small thing here. පොඩ්ඩක් add කරන්න here. Mass of carbon 612 isotope is So now I'm asking you to find the relative atomic mass of oxygen. ඒතර oxygen වල relative atomic mass එක හොයන්න නම් මොනවද ඕනේ? To find the relative atomic mass of oxygen, you need the mass of an atom of the element. කියන්නේ oxygen වල එක atom එකක mass එක ඕනේ. So oxygen වල එක atom එකක mass එක 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. So I write that. Divided by 1 over 12. So I wrote 1 over 12. Mass of carbon 612 isotope. So mass of carbon 612 isotope is 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23. ඒකත් මම ලිව්වා. Now I have to simplify. Again, I told you, don't worry about the simplification. මෙතන 10 to the power minus 23, 10 to the power minus 23 කැපෙනවා. 1 second. Okay. I don't know if the sound of my dog barking is too much for you all. කනේ තිබ්බා වගේ. Okay. So then 10 to the power minus 23, 10 to the power minus 23 කැපෙනවා. Grams කැපෙනවා. And then අපිට ඉතුරුනේ 2.66 divided by 1 over 12 into 1.993. So make a simplify කරාම somehow we get the value 16. Actually 16.02 තමයි අපිට එන value එක. And when I round it off, I get 16, right? Again, I told you, don't think about the simplification. Don't worry about the simplification. You don't need to.
Teacher,
Yes.
teacher, like now we wrote all the formula, like that part and all correct, and our simplification is wrong. So they won't give marks, right?
I told you, you're not expected to do the simplification.
And if we are doing the simplification, now 16.3 is the value. 16.3 is the value, means we have to round it off to the next value, right?
No, you don't have to do the simplification. You are not expected to do the simplification. They are not going to ask you to do the simplification either. There are certain simplifications that you are expected to do, but this is not one of them. Okay, so that's why I said, don't worry about the simplification. Simplification make maths part එක ගැන නෙවෙයි ඔයගොල්ලන් හිතන්න ඕනේ, මේ part එක ගැන. The concept. ඇත්තටම ඒකයි ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේ lesson එක මුලින්ම උගන්වද්දී ගොඩක් වෙලාවට ඔයගොල්ලන් worry වෙන්නේ calculation, simplification. Don't worry about that. Just understand the concept. Right? මම ඔයගලන්ට කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ equation එක තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන් හොඳටම note කරගන්න ඕනේ. Right? And also තව දෙයක් තමයි මෙතන grams capilla final answer එකට unit එකක් නැහැ කියන එක ඔයගලන්ගේ ඔළුවට යන්න ඕනේ. If you understood those two, that's more than enough. Simplification is not something that you need to worry about here. Okay. Ashwita, is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Did you all understand this concept? Forget about the simplification. Did you understand the concept?
Yes.
Okay. Senet, Chenuli, Mayumdi.
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Then this is method 1. No? So there's another method, right? For finding the relative atomic mass, right? Method number 2.
So how many methods?
2 methods. Here 2 methods. For relative atomic mass, it's 2 methods, right? Method number 2 is relative atomic mass equals, again, mass of an atom of the element. අපි මොකද එලිමන්ට් එකකට relative atomic mass calculate කරන්නේ. එහෙනම් ඒ එලිමන්ට් එකේ එක atom එකක mass එක අපිට ඕනේ. Right? Mass of an atom of the element, I divide that by, දැන් ඔන්න හොඳට අහගන්න. Right? මෙතන ළමයි ඔයගලන් notice කරාද here denominator එකේ තියෙන්නේ මොකක්ද? 1/12 into mass of the carbon-612 isotope. ඒ කියන්නේ mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. තමයි denominator එකේ ඉන්නේ. Mass of the carbon-612 isotope divided by 2. ඒකනේ මේකෙන් කියන්නේ. ඒකම නේද අපි මෙතන ඉගෙන ගත්තේ. Mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. Here also mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. Here also mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. A can lamai me atomic mass unit කියන එක නේද? Do you all understand that? lamai? Hmm? Did you understand that?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. So here relative atomic mass.
So once again, can you see?
Yes. So relative atomic mass වල ළමයි denominator එකේ තියෙන මොකද්ද බලන්න. මේ method 1 එකේ method 1 එකේ mass of an atom of the element denominator එකේ තියෙන 1/12 of mass of carbon-612 isotope. Mass of carbon-612 isotope එකේ 1/12. ඒ කියන්නේ mass of carbon-612 isotope you divide by 12 නේ. මෙතන divide කරලානේ 12 වලින්. ඒකම නේද මෙතනත් අපි කිව්වේ. Mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. That is equal to the atomic mass unit. Do you all understand that? So here එහෙනම් මෙතන denominator එකේ තියෙන 1/12 of mass of carbon-612 isotope, which is the same as mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. So instead of writing that, මම ලියනවා atomic mass unit කියලා. Instead of writing that, මම ලියනවා atomic mass unit කියලා. ඇයි මම එහෙම ලියන්නේ? Because atomic mass unit is equal to the mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. ඒකම නේ මෙතනක් තියෙන්නේ. Mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12. ඒකමයි මෙතනක් තියෙන්නේ. Mass of carbon-612 isotope divided by 12, that is the atomic mass unit. එහෙනම් මෙතන මේ 1/12 of mass of carbon-612 isotope වෙනුවට I put atomic mass unit. Lasas Mayumni, did you understand that? Ama?
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Okay, Chenuli, Ashwita, Senet?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Again, we will look at an example. Example. Again, I'm going to use the same values. Right? Oxygen atom එකම අපි use කරමු. එතකොට අපිට compare කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? So, mass of an oxygen atom is 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Right? Then, mass of carbon-612 isotope is 1.993 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Then the question is, Find the relative atomic mass. Right. දැන් අපි අලුත් equation එකක් ඉගෙන ගත්තානේ. අපි දැන් මේ oh sorry. One second. A little change here. Instead of this, okay. ඔන්න ඔහොම ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහලා තියෙනවා, right? ඔයාට oxygen atom එකක mass එක දීලා තියෙනවා. Atomic mass unit එකේ mass එක value එක දීලා තියෙනවා. Now we learned a new equation, so we will apply this equation here, right? So mass of an atom of the element, so oxygen atom එකක mass එක 2.66 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Divided by atomic mass unit එකේ value එක. So this is that value. 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. Make a divide grammar. Again, you get the same value, 16.02, which you round off, you get 16. Completely forget about the calculation. May I කොහොමද divide උනේ කියන එක නෙවෙයි ඔයගොල්ලන් හිතන්න ඕනේ. බාන මෙතනත් unit එක grams capilla, the final answer does not have a unit. So forget about the simplification and only focus on this equation, the formula, right? බලන්න method 1 එකේ method 2 එකේ වෙනස. Method 1 එකේ its relative atomic mass is equal to mass of an atom of the element divided by 1/12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope. Method 2 එකේ its relative atomic mass equals mass of an atom of the element divided by මෙයා වෙනුවට මම දානවා atomic mass unit කියලා. Because that is equal to atomic mass unit. Did you understand this? Chenuli, Mayumdi, Ama,
Yes, teacher.
Lasa, Sashwita, Senet?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Hari. Then, මට කියන්න බලන්න, you get a question. Relative atomic mass හොයන question එකක් එනවා. අපි නිකන් කියමුකෝ සමන් කිව්වගන් simplification questions එන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. but කියමුකෝ නිකන් ආවා කියලා. මම කියන්නේ O level වලට නෙවෙයි, right? So let's say you learn this for something. Let's say you are planning on doing science for A levels or for university, whatever. So ඔයාට මොකක් හරි question එකක් ආවම ඔයා මොන method එකද use කරන්නේ? Do you use the method 1 or the method 2? ඒක depend වෙන්නේ ළමයි ඔයාට දීලා තියෙන information වලින්. ඔයාට atom එකක mass එක දීලා carbon 612 isotope එකේ mass එක දුන්නොත් you have to use method 1. මොකද carbon 612 isotope එක ගැන තියෙන method 1 එකේනේ. But ඔයාට atom එකේ mass එක දීලා atomic mass unit එක දුන්නොත් then you have to use method 2 because atomic mass unit තියෙන්නේ method 2 එකේ. So whatever the method that you are using depends on what are the information that they give you. ඒගොල්ලන් දීලා තියෙන information අනුව you use the most appropriate method. Any questions? Any questions, Lamai?
No, teacher.
Okay, then let's start writing. ලියන්න බලන්න relative atomic mass කියලා. මේ ටික ඔක්කොම ලියාගෙන යන්න. Method 1 and method 2. If you have any questions, ask. Am I done?
Yes, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay, quickly write. I'll give you 1 more minute.
Teacher done.
Okay, what about others? Who needs more time?
Teacher, I will.
Okay, 1 more minute. Million. Maugalamara chemistry. I did send you all the chemistry worksheet, neither. The third lesson worksheet, did I send it to you? Oganant ekada mike discuss kare. Can you all tell me whether we discussed that or did I send you that worksheet? And matakai mom discuss karna but I
Yes,
can't.
teacher.
Yes, no? All right, so that was for your class. Okay. Um
That
then
teacher.
done. Okay. This week I will be sending the what which lesson? What do you call it? Chemical basis of life, the first lesson, right? ඒකේ worksheet එක මම මේ week එකේ වෙනවා. මොකද worksheets අපිට ටිකක් කල් block වුණා. Again, it's definitely my responsibility. So the fault is mine. But as I said, I will be sending all the pending worksheets, right? So that means we will have some work to do. Okay, these are all for atoms. Thani atoms වලට තමයි මේ relative atomic mass කියන එක තියෙන්නේ ළමයි. Carbon maybe, oxygen maybe, nitrogen maybe, likewise, right? And what about molecules? Molecules කියන්නේ ළමයි atoms කීපයක් එකතු වෙලා හැදිච්ච කට්ටිය. For an example, if you take carbon, it's just an atom. If you take oxygen, that is just an atom. But if you take carbon dioxide, it's actually one carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms together. Now this we call a molecule because it's made up of made of 2 or more atoms together, right? අපි තව example එකක් ගත්තොත් let's say hydrogen. Hydrogen can tiny atom එකක්. If you take oxygen, it's another like just one atom. But if you take water කියන්නේ oxygen atom එකකුයි hydrogen atoms දෙකකුයි එකතු වෙලා හැදිච්ච එකක්. So these are all molecules. Now relative atomic mass was for atoms, right? So for molecules, we are going to discuss another one called relative molecular mass. Relative molecular mass. The symbol is molecular in the capital M, relative in the simple R at the bottom. So relative atomic mass. So lamai, just like relative atomic mass, relative molecular mass, there are a few methods, right? So we will talk about method 1. Now, the relative molecular mass is going to be easy for you all. The reason is because mass of one molecule. Yes, Sama.
Can you speak a bit louder?
Can't hear.
No, teacher, it's heavily raining here.
Ah, right, that's right. Or maximum වැඩි කරලා තියෙන volume එක.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Is it enough now? Or I can scream even.
Okay, teacher.
Okay. So relative molecular mass wala method number 1 is relative molecular mass equals mass of one molecule. You divide that by 1 over 12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope. Now this must be very familiar to you all because this is the same method as what we talked about in relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass can mass of an atom of the element you divide by 1 over 12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope. Ekama molecules වලට වෙනස් වෙලා relative molecular mass is mass of one molecule divided by 1 over 12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope, right? Now, just like previously, we will discuss an example for this. Okay. So, may values ඔක්කොම මම ගන්න textbook එකෙන් ළමයි, to be honest with, because obviously I don't remember these values, right? These are values that you don't have to memorize because it's not practical, right? අපි ගමු mass of carbon dioxide molecule is 7.31 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Then mass of six-12 isotope is 1.99 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Ahanava. Find the relative molecular mass, right? Then අපි equation එක already දන්නවා, right? This is what we just learned. Equation එක, I'm sorry, equation එක අපි already දන්නවා, right? Now we just have to apply to this equation. Mass of one molecule, carbon dioxide molecule එකක mass එක 7.13 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. 7.13 නෙවෙයි 31 නා 7.31 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams divided by 1 over 12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope. Carbon 612 isotope එකේ mass එක මේක 1.99 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Divide කරන්න එක ගැන ඔයගොල්ලන් don't worry about that. When you divide it somehow, you get the answer as 44. Right? Grams, කැපෙනවා. The final answer does not have a unit. Does not have any unit. So this is how you find relative molecular mass using method number 1. Did you all understand this?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Then let's go to method number 2. උගා මේ මොනවද ලියන්න එපා ළමයි ආ? මොනවත්ම ලියන්න එපා. We have to discuss more. Method number 2. Method number 2 එකත් again this is not going to be difficult for you because at the relative atomic mass වගේම තමයි. Relative molecular mass එක mass of one molecule. You divide that by then ළමයි 1 over 12 of mass of carbon 612 isotope වෙනුවට I can use atomic mass unit. Because remember, atomic mass unit is mass of carbon 612 isotope divided by 12. එහෙනම් මම මෙතන denominator එකට දානවා atomic mass unit කියලා. Okay. මේකට අපි example එකක් බලමු. Example. Mass of carbon අරකම තමයි carbon dioxide අපි use කරමු, then we can compare no is 7.31 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Now here, instead of giving the mass of carbon 612 isotope, they're giving us the atomic mass unit. Value of atomic mass unit is 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. අපෙන් අහනවා, find the relative molecular mass. So we know the equation. Mass of one molecule is 7.31 into 10 to the power minus 23 grams. Divided by atomic mass unit is 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 24 grams. Again, when you divide this, somehow the answer will be 44. Again, grams, capilla. Your final answer will not have any units. This is again just like method 2 in relative atomic mass. Is this clear? Did you all understand this, Lamai?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now, for relative molecular mass, there is a method 3. Method 3 එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? ඒ method 3 එකට යන්න කලින් අපි චුට්ටක් relative atomic masses වලට යමු ආයේ. දැන් අපි relative atomic mass calculate කරා using two methods, right? Method number 1 and method number 2. අපිට oxygen තමයි අපි දෙකටම use කරේ. Oxygen we got as 16. Oxygen to 16 වගේ අපේ elements ඔක්කොටම relative atomic masses තියෙනවා, right? So if you take relative atomic masses relative atomic masses ගත්තොත් අපි දන්න elements ටිකක් කතා කරමු බලන්න. Let's say carbon relative atomic mass එක 12, oxygen වල 16, hydrogen වල 1, nitrogen වල 14. So මම එක order එකට ලියන්නම් අපේ periodic table එකේ order එකට 1 second. First element is hydrogen. Hydrogen relative atomic mass එක 1. Helium 2. Sorry, lithium. No, so actually, so the question is, if we are to find the relative mass number, how do we not care about the simplification of, are we getting marks to the equation only? මෙහෙමයි. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ exam එකේ මේ වගේ කියන්නේ complicated simplifications අහන්නේ නැහැ. The best thing to do is, for now, for the moment only, trust me, for the moment only, just worry about the equations and concept only, right? ඔගාන මේක හොඳටම තේරෙයි. මම worksheet එක දෙනවා මේකට. මේකේ worksheet එක අපි immediately කරමු. ඒ lesson එකේ ඉවරච හැටි worksheet එක කරමු. එතකොට ඔගාන තේරෙයි ප්‍රශ්න අහන pattern එක. Right? ප්‍රශ්න අහන pattern එක, then you will understand. Because මේකේ අපිට වැදගත් calculations තියෙනවා. In this lesson, there are more important calculations that we need to focus on rather than these simplifications. මේකේ නිකන් මේ simplification part is mathematics, no? Simplification කියන්නේ mathematics. So mathematics වලට ගොඩාක් අනවශ්‍ය විදිහට වෙලාව දැම්මොත් it's not science, no point. Right? That is why simplification ලොකුවට අහන ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා. ඒ ප්‍රශ්න වලට ආවම we'll do those simplifications. But මේවා වල there is not like, you know, simplifications are not given much weight. Much weight නෙමෙයි, actually most of the papers, most of the questions, they don't expect you to do the simplification. ඒ ප්‍රශ්න අහන විදිය, the way they are asking questions, we will get the practice when we are doing worksheets. Okay, so for the moment, just trust me and වැඩි simplification ගැන worry වෙන්න එපා. And after the lesson අපි worksheet එක කරද්දී ඔයගන්ට තේරෙයි why I said that. Okay, Mayumdi, all good? Okay.
Yes, miss. Thank you, miss.
Okay. So, අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම relative atomic masses. For helium it's 4. 4. Lithium වල it's 7. So likewise, all of these elements have relative atomic masses. I think it's easier for me to just copy paste this table that is on your textbook. I think that would be easier, no? This table is straight from your textbook. Look at this now. Then අපි oxygen වලට මේ calculation එක කරලා oxygen වල relative atomic mass මම relative atomic mass ගැන කතා කරන්නේ. Relative atomic mass 16 කියලා හොයාගත්තනේ. ඒ වගේ අනිත් atoms අනිත් elements වලටත් calculations කරලා ඒගොල්ලන් හොයා ගන්නවා hydrogen වල relative atomic mass is 1. For helium the relative atomic mass is 4. For lithium it's 7, beryllium 9, boron 11, carbon 12, nitrogen 14, oxygen 16 which අපි calculation එකෙන් හොයාගත්තා. Fluorine 19, neon 20, sodium 23, magnesium 24, aluminium 27, silicon 28, phosphorus sulfur 31, 32, chlorine 35.5, argon, potassium, calcium 40, 39, 40. Likewise, all of these elements, not just these, may I pay first 20 elements with in all the elements of the periodic table, they have relative atomic masses. Relative atomic masses අපිට use කරන්න ගොඩක් යනවා ආයෙමත් මේව ඔයගොල්ලෝ memorize කරන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. ඕගන් relative atomic mass එක use කරන්න question එක එනවා නම් they will give you the relative atomic mass, right? I will show that you in a minute. හරි. දැන් අපි ඒකෙන් move වෙනවා ආයෙමත් අපේ relative molecular mass වලට, right? So we were here. Relative molecular mass වල method 1 අපි discuss කරා, method 2 අපි discuss කරා. Now method 3. This is the simplest method and this is the method that you need to know how to do. මෙන්න මේවා තමයි calculations වල අහන්නේ. Method number 3. Relative molecular mass equals sum of the relative.
But you're saying we have to write it, no?
No. None of these you have to write. I didn't give you time yet to write. No, we were just discussing, so you don't have to write anything. Huh? Okay, Ashwita?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so relative molecular mass for the third method එක තමයි මෙන්න මේක. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් method 1 එකේ 2 එකේ they are very කියන්නේ yes they are quite complicated simplifications. මම simplify කරන්න එපා වෙනවානේ. You have to use logarithms to simplify this, right? Otherwise it's not possible. එහෙම නැතුව method 2 එකේ it's much more easier. Now look at this. මම එක example එකකින් ඔයගන්ට පෙන්නන්නම්. Let me choose a color. So, example, right? Find the relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide. කියලා ඒගොල්ලන් brackets ඇතුලේ කියනවා මෙන්න මෙහෙම. Relative atomic masses කියලා. Okay. So if you look at carbon dioxide, right? Carbon dioxide කියන එක ගත්තහම as you can see there is one carbon atom. Then there are two oxygen atoms. එහෙනම් අපි relative molecular mass එක හොයන third method එක තමයි මේ හැම atom එකෙම relative atomic masses අපි add කරනවා. Then this is how we do it. Relative molecular mass එක carbon dioxide වල relative molecular mass එක කියන්නේ ඒ molecule එකේ ඉන්න atoms වල relative atomic mass එක add කරනවා. So carbon එක්කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා carbon වල relative atomic mass එක 12. So I write 12. Oxygen දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවානේ. Oxygen දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. එක oxygen කෙනෙක්ගේ relative atomic mass එක 16 they have given. But oxygen දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්න හින්දා I have to multiply this by 2. So 12 plus 16 into 2 is 32. Then you get the answer as 44. You know relative nang units now. This is your third method of calculating relative molecular mass. Look here, අපි complicated divisions වත් මොනවත් කරේ නැහැ. අපි කරේ මොකක් හරි molecule එකක් දීලා ඔයාට ඒකේ relative molecular mass හොයන්න කියනවා නම් ඔයා බලනවා මේ molecule එක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ මොන atoms වලින්ද? carbon dioxide දුන්නාම මොනවාද atoms එකේ තියෙන්නේ? carbon තියෙනවා, oxygen දෙකක් තියෙනවා. ඊළඟට ඔයා මොකද කරන්නේ? ඒ හැම atom එකකම relative atomic masses ඔයා එක එක add කරනවා. carbon වල add කරා, oxygen දෙකේ add කරා. Then you get the answer as 44. That is the relative molecular mass of carbon dioxide molecule. Right? Did you understand that?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. අපි තව example එකක් බලමු එකට. මොකද මෙන්න මේවා calculations. I mean these are pretty basic, but මේවා තව ඉස්සරහට අපි පොඩ්ඩක් complicate වෙනවා. But now these are the real calculations. This is the real deal, not the previous ones. Now, let's take another example. So, example 1. So, this is example 2, right? Find the relative molecular mass of, let's say, simple water. Water, කියලා brackets ඇතුලේ දෙනවා. Brackets ඇතුලේ දෙනවා relative atomic masses ටික. එහෙනම් අපි කොහොමද relative molecular mass හොයන්නේ? relative atomic masses ටික add කරලා. Can somebody tell me what the relative molecular mass of water is? දැන් add කරලා ඔයගන්ට ගන්න පුළුවන් උත්තරේ. What is it? Give me 1 second, lamai. What is the relative molecular mass of water? Yes, I got the answer 18. How? H2O හැදලා තියෙන H දෙකකිනුයි O එකකිනුයි. So එක hydrogen එකක relative atomic mass එක 1. එහෙනම් hydrogen දෙකේ relative atomic mass එක 2. Plus එක oxygen එකක් 16. So 16 plus 2 is 18. That is the relative molecular mass of water. Okay, up to this point, is everything clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Ashwita. Amma?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Lasas?
Yes,
Okay, Chenuli?
yes, teacher.
Mayumdi?
Yes, miss.
Senet? Okay, now we will start writing. I think we stopped from, we wrote relative atomic mass, no? So now we have to do relative molecular mass. So relative molecular mass ke topic ke liya clearly methods tuna liyan. This is method 1. Example ka tharta liyan. Then method 2, then method 3. So let me tell you, as I said previously, method 3 is the most important method. You will see why. Me lesson ek karagene adde, right? Method 3 ek tamai godam mahan. Quickly write these, lamai. I will give you 5 minutes. Malia. 5 minutes madhi vedanna ne. It's okay. Madhi I will give you more time, but quickly write.
Teacher, do we need to write that table?
No. Make ලියන්න ඕනේ නෑ. You don't need this. මම නිකන් පෙන්නන්න විතරයි ගත්තේ. For all the one more thing ළමයි. මේ relative atomic masses, මෙන්න මේ relative atomic masses you don't have to memorize. මේ ඔක්කොම ඒගොල්ලන් දෙනවා. like දැන් හිතන්න මෙන්න මෙතන අපි මෙතන 3 එකට යමු. මම ඔයගලන්ට කිව්වා relative atomic mass of carbon dioxide හොයන්න කියලා. හොයන්න කියද්දි මම ඔයගලන්ට බලන්න brackets ඇතුළේ relative atomic masses ටික දුන්නා. ඒ වගේ හැම question එකකම they are going to give you the relative atomic masses. So you don't have to worry. Just ඒකයි කිව්වේ දැන් මේක ගොඩක් memorize කරන්න කියන්නේ useless විදිහට memorize කරන්න දේවල් නැහැ. So yeah, don't have to memorize that table. ඒක ලියන්න ඕනෙත් නැහැ. Pretty right. ළමයි done?
No, teacher.
Ashwita still writing? මේකේ time
Yes.
එක වැඩි කරන්න කවුදනේ? Time එක.
Don't know, teacher.
තාම විනාඩි 3යිනේ. I only gave 5 minutes now. Okay. I'm gonna keep my eyes on the timer.
Teacher done.
Okay. Others, what about others? Ama, Chenuli?
Teacher, waiting.
Chenuli what? Still writing, no?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, quickly. So, අපි relative molecular mass ඉවරයි. Relative formula mass, and I think by next week we'll be done with the quantification lesson. මේ week එකේ මම ඔයගලන්ට හිමුණොත් එවන්නම් cell lesson එක. lesson එකේ note එක. So next week වෙද්දී get a print out and keep it.
Done, teacher.
Okay.
Teacher done.
Okay. Now ළමයි, look at this one. Again, this is from your textbook, which is exercise 1 on page 128. Can you all quickly do this? This is all about just adding, no? Our relative atomic masses ටික add කරගෙන යන්න තියෙන්නේ. ටක් ගාලා මේක කරන්න. Again, I will give you another 5 minutes. I don't think 5 minutes වත් ඕන වෙයි කියලා, because this is a matter of just adding, huh? ටක් ගාලා මේක කරන්න බලන්න. Fast.
Teacher, done.
Okay, others? Let me know when others are done too.
Teacher, like when we are sending the note, we have to send this part also, right?
Yes, everything that you write on the notebook.
No, the
Hmm?
exercise also we have to send, right?
Yeah, exercise you did it on the notebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, that too. The entire everything that you are writing on that particular day on your note.
Okay, teacher.
තමයි හැමෝම අදම එවන්න. Otherwise you're gonna forget, right? Definitely you're gonna forget. අන්තිමට පස්සෙන් ගෙන්නත් බෑ. This is a routine that we have been doing for a while, but for the, let's say, the last month or so, we couldn't do it. But we have to get back to that track. We have to get back to that routine. So today itself, right after the class, please do send the note. ඔගා මොනා ලියන්ති කියලා නැත්තම් මම දන්නේ නැහැ. Mistakes එම තියවන, then I can correct now. Okay, let's discuss. Ashwita, what did you get for the relative molecular mass of ammonia?
Teacher, 42.
42. Chenuli.
17.
17. Lasas.
29.
Hmm?
29.
For ammonia, we'll see. Ammonia NH3, that means N එකක් ඉන්නවා H 3ක් ඉන්නවා. Right? N එකක mass එක 14. H එකක mass එක 1, ඒ වගේ H 3ක් තියෙනවා. So I'm going to multiply that by 3. So 14 plus 1 multiplied by 3 is 3. That is 17. So relative molecular mass of ammonia is 17 ළමයි. හදාගන්න. What about sulfuric acid? Tell me, Seneth, what did you get for sulfuric acid? Amma.
98.
Okay, you got 98. Seneth, what did you get? Okay. Chenuli, what did you get?
98.
Okay, we'll see. Hydrogen දෙන්නෙක් ඉන්නවා. එක hydrogen එකක් 1, hydrogen දෙන්නෙක් කියන්නේ I have to multiply that by 2. Plus එක sulfur එකක් ඉන්නවා, so 32. Plus oxygen, එක oxygen එකක් 16, oxygen ඒ වගේ 4ක් ඉන්නවා. We'll simplify this. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 32, plus 16 times 4 is 64. මේ තුන add කරන්න ඕනේ. So 64 plus 32 is 96. 96 plus 2 is 98. So that would be 98. Sucrose. Mayumdi, what did you get for sucrose?
342.
Okay, you got 342. Ashwita, what did you get?
342.
Amma, what did you get?
342.
Okay, so all the three answers are the same, so probably right, no? So we'll see. There are relative atomic mass of carbon is 12 times there are 12 carbon atoms plus relative atomic mass of hydrogen is 1. There are 22 hydrogen atoms. So 22 plus relative atomic mass of oxygen is 16 and there are 11 oxygens. 12 times 12 is 144. 1 times 22 is 22. 16 times 11 is 16 times 11 would be 176. So 4, 5, 6, 12, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 7, 14, 342. That's correct. This is how you get the relative molecular mass. Okay. Put a subtopic, relative formula mass. Relative formula mass के topic එකක් දාගන්න. Now ළමයි, if you take sodium chloride, NaCl, right? මෙයා ඇවිල්ලා molecule එකක් නෙමෙයි මේ වගේ කටට අපි කියනවා compound, ionic compound එකක් කියලා. So what an ionic compound is, we will be learning in a future lesson, right? දැනට හිතා ගන්න NaCl කියන එක නා ඉන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙම. 3D විදියට. NaCl 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 Na then පල්ලෙහාටත් Cl Na ඔහොමම ඉන්නවා. මෙතන Na atoms ගොඩකුයි Cl atoms ගොඩකුයි තියෙනවා. Right, there are a certain number of Na atoms and a certain number of Cl atoms. ගොඩක් තියෙන හින්දා අපි ගන්නවා sodium to chlorine ratio එක 1:1 කියලා. හිතන්නකෝ sodium atoms 100 තිබ්බා කියලා. If there were 100 sodium atoms, there has to be 100 chlorine atoms. Then 100:100 is 1:1. හිතන්න මේ structure එකේ තිබ්බා කියලා 500 sodium atoms. Then chlorine atoms with 500 තියෙන්න ඕනේ. So 1:1 ratio. ඒක හින්දා තමයි අපි sodium chloride NaCl කියලා කියන්නේ. NaCl කියලා කියන්නේ Na එකකුයි Cl. I will finish the class in 5 minutes. Huh? NaCl කියන්නේ Na atoms එකකුයි Cl atoms එකකුයි කියන එක නෙවෙයි. Na atoms ගොඩකුයි Cl atoms ගොඩකුයි තියෙනවා. However, the ratio will be 1:1. Right? මේගොල්ලන්ට අපි කියන molecules කියන්නේ නැහැ. Right? So, අපි මේක ලියාගමු.
Teacher, it is lagging.
How about now?
Now, okay.
Okay. Some compounds do not exist as molecules, but as lattices. Here, their formula represents the simplest ratio of atoms. Example, NaCl contains an equal number of Na and Cl atoms. ඒ කියන්නේ Na to Cl ratio එක 1:1. 1:1. ඒ වගේ එකකත් අපි relative formula mass හොයන්නේ අර ඔක්කොම relative atomic masses ටික add කරන විදිහටම තමයි. Right? So here relative formula mass ගන්නේ sum of relative atomic masses. Just like relative molecular mass වල method 3 එක වගේම තමයි. Right? example එකක් ලියමු. Find the relative formula mass of NaCl. Brackets අතර අපිට දෙනවා relative atomic masses. That's why I said you don't have to memorize. Relative atomic masses අපිට දෙනවා. Sodium වල it's 23, chlorine වල it's 35.5. දැන් මෙයාගේ formula එක බැලුවම NaCl වල if you take NaCl there is one Na and one Cl. එහෙනම් relative formula mass කියලා කියන්නේ Na එකයි එක Na එක mass එක 23 Cl එකයි එක Cl එක mass එක 35.5 එහෙනම් NaCl relative molecular mass එක 58.5. To be honest with, this is the exact same thing that happens in relative molecular mass method 3. ඒකම තමයි මේ තියෙන්නේ. The same thing, right? Do you all understand this, ළමයි? මේක තේරුණාද ඔයගලන්ට?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, quickly start writing then. If you didn't understand, let me know. But otherwise, start writing. Relative formula mass එක ලියන්න පටන් ගන්න. So මෙයාගේ මේ මම කටුවට ලියන relative formula mass කියන එක හරියට ලියන්න. So calcium එකයි so 40, carbon එකයි so 12. Oxygen එකක් 16, ඒ වගේ oxygen 3ක් තියෙනවා. Sixteen times 3 is 48. So you will get the relative formula mass as 100. මේ relative කියලා අපි කියන හැම එකකම units නෑ ළමයි. Keep that in mind.
Teacher done.
මේ ඔක්කොම ලිව්වා නේද?
Yeah.
Okay, what about others? Mayumdi, Lasas?
I'm done, teacher.
Mayumdi? Ama? Shenuli?
Done, miss.
Seneth? Seneth done writing? Okay, so with that, yes, okay, with that, we'll end the class today. So next week, as usual, we will be having the class on 10th, no? මට දැන් 10th ද කොහෙද වැටෙන්නේ? So 10th අපි usually the class එක කරනවා. So what I have to tell you before I end the class is that